So, we are back, and today we're going to have a little bit of a discussion on the character of Thanos in Avengers Infinity War. This has been a long time coming. We've been teased by this character for quite a while, and in my opinion, I think that they delivered very well with this movie and this
Definitely.
character. Yeah. Yeah, I think one of the key aspects to Thanos' character is that his motivation is pretty solid. It's pretty solid. It's one that is interesting and it's fresh. You have a character, basically, his motivation is he sees himself as the good guy. He wants to increase the flourishing of all life in the universe by um
Yeah, essentially balancing. Yeah.
Yeah.
right. He wants to create balance. The way he sees it is there aren't enough resources. Resources are finite, and life is at a point where it's unsustainable based on the resources that are available. And so his view is that if you significantly decrease the amount of life that exists, that will increase the quality of life for those that remain because there are more resources to go around.
And that's basically like what he got from his home planet Titan, right?
Exactly.
So that's his basic ideology, and there's a lot that you could say about it because, essentially he's killing half of life. But
Hmm.
he at least does it randomly, which supposedly makes it better. But
Makes it just.
yeah, so yeah, when he said that line about the rich and the poor, it's like he's trying to be completely fair, and it's sort of like a twisted version of being enlightened or something, like just like doing this for the greater
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. He and it's weird because it kind of that worldview of life not having any value beyond um the material is
Survival,
kind of
basically.
right, survival, the material, what you can get, it's embodied in Thanos and his mission. He feels that so everything that exists is what is here. And the dead aren't going to care because they're dead. The only thing that matters is those who are alive. And the most important thing for those who are alive is that they are comfortable. That's
Mhm.
basically what his view is that they have as much comfort as possible, and the way to get as much comfort as possible is through excess resources.
Yeah. So then this goes to my question of this whole Thanos thing. If all he wants to do is destroy a certain amount of population, why does he need the Infinity Stones to do that? Why can't he just use some other mechanism to do that?
I,
Um,
I think he wanted to use the Infinity Stones to be fair, to create that random sense, like just
mm,
boom, snap your fingers, half of the population of the entire universe is gone.
there's no
um
spell that you can just be like, oh, hocus pocus, and then random people
Maybe,
disappear.
but for the sake of the movie, I think like he thought that was the only way to make it fair. So
Uh,
okay, now let's just get to poking some holes in his argument, his ideology, because there's a
Right.
couple that we've already seen, and we'll definitely acknowledge that this is a complete like emotionless, not emotionless, but like he's very detached from emotions when he's doing this mission. We saw that when
Right. Or at least he
mm,
tries to be,
yeah, he
you
tries his
know.
trust
best to
as
be.
we.
Yeah. So, and that's sort of what makes him more relatable, I guess, because he loved Gamora and killed her for this cause and everything.
Hmm. Hmm.
But think about it this way, like when he has all Infinity Stones, he can basically do close to anything that he wants to, right? If he can snap his fingers and decrease the population in half randomly, why can't he snap his fingers and like increase the amount of resources instead, so that
Yeah, exactly.
everybody is can live and thrive, better. That's a huge argument against his ideology.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, what makes him to be the fit one to do it? Like, why not him be destroyed? Like, why does he have to? I mean, I get you could argue that it's his ideology, but at the same time, you're gonna tell me that there was no other person who didn't have it So like, what makes him to be the who gives what makes him to be the right to play the one who could get rid of all these people?
He did say that in order to do it, you have to have a strong will, and he's saying that he's the one who has that will to do it.
Mm.
So I think that's what he thinks in his head, that
Yeah.
he's the only one that has the capabilities of doing it.
Yeah, that's interesting because there are those two sides to that coin, and I think also you kind of run into the same problem either way, because this is another criticism of his plan, is that when you have so like the way that populations grow is on an S curve that or a reverse S curve, whatever direction it is. As you have an excess of resources, the population is going to grow exponentially faster until it reaches a point where it starts to drop off, when the resources become the limiting factor in the growth of the population. And whether you increase the amount of resources or decrease the amount of the population, you're still going to run into that same problem where eventually you're going to get back to the same place where you were. So Thanos's plan, it's only going to last for maybe like 2 or 3 generations before everybody, like the population of everything goes right back up to where it was before, and you have the same problem. So is it like, does he plan to keep doing this over and over again, or, but that's, yeah.
But OC, we elect him as our god. So I think as our god, he's going to do it. As your god, I'm going to destroy half of the planet. It's part of the god rules.
Yeah, I guess so. Every 100 years, I will return to kill off half the
Population.
Yeah, so it's basically not a foolproof plan. It's something that he's gonna have to keep doing over and over again. It's not like it's not a done deal. So
Right.
so that's
Yeah,
another
but
issue.
that being said, it is a very interesting, like, because this conversation is very interesting to have, and there are no other Marvel villains that really have created this kind of like interesting discussion, except for maybe Killmonger, and maybe you could argue Loki. But as far as like Marvel creating a very interesting villain, the past two with Black Panther and now Infinity War have proven very successful.
Yeah. I'd
Yeah.
argue that this movie was essentially a movie about Thanos in a way.
Yeah, definitely. Thanos.